Tim Groenewald, Tony Palladino and Piyush Chawla all had success with the ball on the opening day of the crucial LV County Championship match between Somerset and Derbyshire in Taunton, a day on which the game moved forward with 15 wickets falling, with the visitors assuming control. Marcus Trescothick won the toss and batted in spite of the 10:30 start, and he and Nick Compton looked to continue the form that saw their side thrash Middlesex last week to move out of the relegation places at the expense of Derbyshire, who lost at Surrey. This pair opened up with a stand of 25. And that turned out to be the second best of the innings as Somerset collapsed again. On 17, Trescothick edged Mark Foote to Wayne Madsen. Before, in the next over, Compton was taken low down at second slip by Richard Johnson off the returning Palladino. The former Essex man then struck again to have Chris Jones taken behind, with the score on 34 for 3. Hardly the start Somerset wanted. Indeed, it was all suddenly a little frantic from the home side, and Craig Kieswetter got away with a drive off Groenewald, which the bowler parried into umpire David Milnes. But Kieswetter didn't learn from that, and he immediately drove Groenewald back from paternity leave to Ben Slater. Alex Barrow continued the wickets as he was bowled by a ball from Groenewald, which he decided wrongly to leave alone. It was 47 for 6 when James Hildreth was LBW to Palladino, and 53 for 7 before lunch as Craig Machada's leg glance was too fine and Groenewald had another wicket in a morning which had fundamentally belonged to the visitors. The afternoon started well for them too, with Groenewald striking again to have Lewis Gregory caught behind. Palladino then grabbed his third wicket to reduce Somerset to 75 for 9, Alfonso Thomas another to misjudge both line and length. Chawla became just the second man of the day to make it into double figures as he and Jack Leach put on the best stand of the innings of 28 before Groenewald grabbed his third fifer of the season. He ended with 5 for 33 and Palladino 4 for 34 as Somerset were all out for just 103. Chawla top scoring again with 27. Paul Borrington was then given an early life in the Derbyshire reply. Before at last things began to settle down. Somerset had batted for just 33 overs and they were now likely to be chasing this important game for the remainder, however long that was going to be. These two sides have already produced a low-scoring thriller this summer, a game won by Somerset, but Borrington and Slater were soon putting their side on top on this occasion as they opened up with a 52-run stand. So Somerset desperately needed a wicket and they got one when Borrington, after equalling Chawla's 27, edged the first ball from the Indian leg spinner to Trescothick. Chawla then did it again to remove danger man Madsen, who was out for 7, with his side trailing by only 41. But Somerset were fighting back, especially when Machada trapped Shivnarine Chanderpaul in front on 4 shortly before tea. The last session then was now going to be a very big one for both sides. Derbyshire started it well, with Johnson and Slater finally stopping the flow of wickets as they were able to put on the best partnership of the day. They took their side ahead with just 3 wickets down and eventually added 54 runs for the 4th wicket. Slater had worked really hard for his 45 runs, but that was as far as he got. He then gave Chawla his third success, with Hildreth taking a sharp catch at backward short leg. Alex Hughes followed in the leggies next over. LBW the easy decision which left the visitors 24 ahead, but with half of their men out. Given that this pitch was already taking considerable turn, Somerset were now right back in things, but Johnson decided that now was the time to attack, or at least try to. While he didn't connect as well as he would have liked with that shot, he certainly did in the next over off Chawla with a thumping 6. Tom Poynton also played more aggressively than most, and it was a policy which really started to work rather well for his team. Perhaps the view was that, sooner or later, a ball with the batsman's name on it was going to arrive, but whatever the thought process, it was the right thing to do as Derbyshire moved well ahead late in the day. Poynton took Chawla for 2 fours in an over to record his excellent 50, which had occupied only 71 balls, 40 of his runs coming in boundaries, which also suggests that Somerset let their opposition off the hook a little bit before the day's close. Johnson hit only 4 fours and 1 6 in his half-century, which used up 104 deliveries, but he'd made sure that this massive day was won by his side. Somerset already now have much to do to try to turn this game around against a side which has really turned its fortunes around in the last month. With Johnson making 55 and Poynton 53, Derbyshire were able to go to bed with a score of 220 for 5 posted. These two have added a crucial 93 runs for the 6th wicket thus far, and that's carried their side 117 runs ahead after only one day of this 4-day contest. The ECB pitch inspector is also taking a look at the surface.